The Detroit Lions officially ripped off their tees and flexed some peck during the draft because they absolutely dominated. Brad Holmes, general manager of Detroit, the area scouts, regional scouts, Dan Campbell, the head coach, all of you guys crushed it. One of the best drafts that I have seen in a long time. I mean, it was just so refreshing to see a draft like this because it was a Madden move, a video game move that was pulled off in real life. From the first to the second round mainly, and then early in the third, it was just magical. So if you're a Detroit Lions fan, be excited. You know, I think that you guys are one of the number ones that walked away in this draft. You're definitely not number two. You're not second behind anyone with this draft. You guys pulled some mad moves, and if I did this a month ago on the Detroit Lions, people would say it wasn't realistic. And that's because these moves were just ingenious. You had Cleveland, who traded their first-round pick for Watson, and Houston traded away to Arizona, which then Detroit says, I want to go play in the party. Detroit traded up. Detroit was aggressive. Detroit knew who they had on their board and who they wanted to get. And they just made such a statement and brought in so many dogs in this that this could be a draft that could be remembered for a long time in Detroit country. So the thing I'll say about Gibbs is I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I think people could argue that he was possibly the most dangerous on Alabama's offense and probably even more dangerous than what Will Anderson was on defense. That's how good Gibbs is. Gibbs is such a leader on the field with just his presence alone. You can expect him to catch the ball. You can expect him to run the ball. He doesn't allow unnecessary hits on his body as well. He will utilize the stiff arm to create distance and then to use his speed with quick reaction to get away from defenders. He is so good at gaining yards while also keeping defenders off of his body. The other huge thing about him is his mental focus. You could tell he's focused regardless of who they're playing. He is so incredibly businesslike on the field. He is an absolute professional at the position, and this was a huge pickup for Detroit. So they got Jack Campbell in the first round, pick 18, 6'5", 250 pounds. He's not super fast, but he's fast enough. Very cerebral play. That's what they expect out of Iowa. The defensive coordinator there does a great job at producing NFL talent. Iowa's defense made things boring, and that's why you haven't heard about Jack Campbell as much as you probably should have. He plays like Brian Urlacher in a sense. You'll see him get juked out occasionally, but he's the type of guy that doesn't like shoulder pops only. He likes to wrap up, and he believes in that, and he's very hard to get away from once he gets contact. The thing about him as a person, he's a very humble guy. He's going to do his job, and he's going to bring a presence into that defensive locker room immediately that's going to bolster the rest of the squad. This was a great pickup. So Sam Laporta getting picked up. I had him as first-round talent. I also had him going to the Detroit Lions because I believe that he would fit on the Detroit Lions. I believe he could do great on the Detroit Lions. I believe that they got the best guy that they could get. Sam Laporta was one of the only pieces on the offensive side of the ball for Iowa. They knew he was getting the ball, and even when he got the ball, they still couldn't stop him. He does a great job of being shifty for his size. He's very athletic. He's incredibly fast. He's going to be one of the fastest tight ends in the NFL, and he hasn't even played it down in the NFL yet. He does a great job at catching the ball and then tucking it away and becoming a runner right away. He's very physical, and he's not going to allow you to get easy shots on him all that much. Overall, I think this is a great pickup with the right coaching. Sam Laporta can go down as one of the better tight ends from this draft, no doubt, if not the best. So in the second round, pick 14, they go Brian Branch from Alabama, and at this moment, you have two offensive guys and two defensive guys that are all excellent in their craft, and you actually chose all four of these guys from only two colleges, Iowa and Alabama. And I think with Brian Branch at this pick, you just couldn't go wrong. You have a guy who I think could be an excellent safety just because of how he reads what the offense has given him, and he puts himself into position to succeed, whether that be in the run game or attacking the receiver in the pass game. He just offers so much, and he's going to bring an instant impact to the locker room and the on-field presence with his play and his mentality. Third round, pick 5, Hendon Hooker gets picked up. Detroit trades up for him. And Hendon Hooker had like 54 TDs with only 5 interceptions. TD to interception ratio is fantastic. His passer rating was behind C.J. Stroud, and basically C.J. Stroud alone. He's very accurate. He didn't have the team that Alabama had, Georgia, Ohio State. He didn't have that same team. He had a solid team, but still not to that level, and he excelled with the guys that he had. Hyatt, Darnell Wright, right tackle. There's a lot to like about Hendon Hooker's play. I wish he'd be a little bit smarter with the hits that he took. Maybe now he will, but he can deliver all the throws. He could process the defense, and he could end up being a really good snag, especially in the third round.